Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Tai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
I don't sing.
Sang for 10 minutes.
Bro. I don't sing, bro. Sorry.
It's all about exalted devotees singing. Prabhupada, you want to sing?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radhe Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol गोद में। Thank you. Later. जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना, यमुना तीर वनचारी, यमुना तीर वनचारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना, यमुना तीर वनचारी, यमुना तीर वनचारी, राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना, Braja Jana Ranjana He Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Oh, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Pratishrikacharya Ashtotarashita Shri Shibad Srila Abhay Charanand Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Nama Acharya Srila Thakur Haridasa Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Sri Radha Shri Harinama Sankirtana Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad-Bhagavatam Ki Jai ISKCON BBT Samsthapak Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Shri Shri Gaurnitai Ki Jai Jagannath Balaram Subhadra Maharani Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Madan Gopal Ki Jai Go Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for coming. What's our topic? I didn't select any topic, but if somebody has something they want to hear about, we can discuss that. From Bhagavad-gita for many place. Yeah? Okay, well that's a tough topic, but nobody new here, right? We're all devotees already, initiated. Huh? Some people are new. Mostly do. So you all know the modes of material nature. So yeah, we can talk about this. One of my favorite topics, and I don't know if I've ever discussed it here, is the beginning of chapter 17, because it's not something that we hear too much about. We should, but we don't. Chapter 17 of Bhagavad-gita is, of course, titled The Divisions of Faith. Divisions of Faith. What does that mean, divisions of faith? Anybody want to comment on this? What does it mean, divisions of faith? Title of the chapter. Yes, that's all, because that material has been given already after a slight detour from chapter 15 and chapter 16. We're back to the three modes of material nature in this chapter as well as in the next chapter. Krishna continues that discussion because it's very important. Why is it very important? Because chapter 14 told us, you will be able to appreciate me once you recognize that there's actually nothing in this world except the three modes of material nature. It's very necessary to know this subject matter. Prabhupada even said it on at least one occasion. Chapter 14 is the most important chapter of Bhagavad-gita. Would you have thought that? Usually we think, well, maybe chapter 9, right? Or perhaps, chapter 2, because it's very foundational. But actually, practically speaking, if you're interested in practicing Krishna consciousness, you do need to know about these three modes of material nature. So let's begin with Mangalacharana, and then we can discuss chapter 17, the first, say, half dozen texts or so. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Marobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Uttapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hare Priye. Hey, was it Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Madgavirapi Gopala Swikuryat Kripaya Yadi Tadaiva Sampayah Pitva Hrishyayustat Priya Janaha. My dear Lord Gopal, only if you accept my words to be like your cows, then they can produce sweet milk and give pleasure to your pure devotees. Divisions of faith. Arjuna Uvacha Ye Shastra Vidhamutsrijya Yajante Shraddhayanvitaha Tesham Nishtatu Ka Krishna Satam Aho Rajastamaha. Because in the last chapter, Krishna concluded with a pretty strong few statements, actually, emphasizing, well, I'll just read them. Yashastra vidhamutsrijya vartate kamakarataha nasa siddhimavapnoti na sukham na paramgatim. He who discards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. Tasmad chastram pramanam te karya vyavastitho gnatva shastra vidhanoktam karma kartum iharhasi. Therefore, one should understand what is duty and what is not duty by the regulations of the scriptures. Knowing such rules and regulations, one should act so that he may gradually be elevated. And this produced the question in Arjuna's mind. Okay, so we all know people. Does it sound familiar? People who worship according to their faith, and they're very pious in their own way, but they're not necessarily guided by Shastras, right? This is the majority of Hindus, I'm sorry to say. It's a fact. One woman in Lucknow, about 30 or 40 years ago, cooking lunch for her family, she cut open a bengan. And inside of the bengan, she saw that the seeds were distributed in the form of Omkar. And therefore the bengan avatar ho gaya. Sach hai. It happens like that. So this is why Arjuna is asking this question. Shastra vidham utsrijya. Utsrijya is not even the question because, you can give up something that you're aware of, but we're not even aware of the Shastras. Frankly speaking, most people we don't read. So what do we know? We don't know anything to begin with. There's no question of giving up something. One of my god sisters was confused, and she said that we're above varnashram dharma. I mean, in some sense, there's logic in that also. Despite the fact that the spiritual master told us that the remaining 50% of his mission is to establish varnashram. So she said, we're above this, and therefore, we reject this. We can give it up. So I told her that, my dear friend, this you can give up something that you've actually assimilated to begin with, but you haven't even understood it yet. There's not really much question for enunciation. But anyway, here in these verses later on, in the next chapter, in the beginning verses, Krishna talks about that question, which is a separate one. Right now we're talking about first 6 verses of chapter 18, he says that. Right now we're talking about the first half dozen verses of chapter 17, which deals with different modes of faith. So Krishna, we haven't read the translation yet. Let me do that. Arjuna inquired, O Krishna, what is the situation of those who do not follow the principles of Scripture but worship according to their own imagination? Are they in goodness, in passion, or in ignorance? Prabhupada has a fairly short purport in which he says, in the 4th chapter, 39th verse, it is said that a person faithful to a particular type of worship gradually becomes elevated to the stage of knowledge. 4th chapter, 39th verse. Anybody got it? Kantastha? No. So let's read that. What does kantastha mean? Ready on your tongue. You can just, at a moment's notice, you can reproduce what you've heard. That's also called shrotriya, and it's a qualification. Shadhaman labhate jnanam tatpara sanyatendriyaha jnanam labdhva param shantim achirenadhigacchati. A faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses is eligible to achieve such knowledge. And having achieved it, he quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. It's not explicit in this particular verse, even though Prabhupada just said it is. What did Prabhupada say here? In the 4th chapter, 39th verse, it is said that a person faithful to a particular type of worship gradually becomes elevated to the stage of knowledge and attains the highest perfectional stage of peace and prosperity. The whole first 5 chapters of Bhagavad-gita, according to the major acharyas' commentaries, that subject matter is karma, and it's intended to bring us to the stage of jnana ka adhikar, so that we can actually, when your mind is peaceful, when your activities are sattvic, and when you're fixed in piety, then there's any question of Vedanta, Padhadhikara. Shankaracharya has a very clear policy on this. Nobody's allowed to study Vedanta unless you have first assimilated the Dharma Shastras. And this is Jaimini Rishi's position as well. That's why he begins his Karma Mimamsa Sutra, his commentary on the Karma Marga, with this aphorism. Anybody know what he says? Atato? No. He says, Atato Dharma Jignasa. That is the prerequisite. Just like if you take an advanced physics class in college, it's understood that you've already gone through algebra, right? So, it's a prerequisite. This is a thing that is lost on us too often because we don't read. But the fact of the matter is that that's why Vyasadeva can begin his Vedanta school with, what does he say in the beginning of the Brahma Sutras? Atato Brahmajigya, that part you heard. Yes. So these two schools, Karma, Mimamsa, and Vedanta, they're also known as Purva Mimamsa and Uttara Mimamsa. Mimamsa to hai dono mein. But, there's the beginning stages to assimilate dharma, and then the advanced stages you can begin to process knowledge. Because what happens if you have not become punyatma, as Krishna says in Bhagavad-gita? Before you become punyatma, if you try to hear something and process the gyan, what are you going to do with it? We see it all the time, what people do with it. You twist and twangle it into all kinds of grotesque forms that were not intended. This is the problem, because the intelligent avishuddha buddhi, yen yena aravindaksha vimuktamanina, they may think that they're liberated, but, they're not actually that advanced. So we're actually, this is relevant to us also. All right, so this is the prerequisite first sentence of Prabhupada's purport. He's reminding us of this. The purpose of karma is to prepare you for properly assimilating jnana. And jnana, what is the real purport of jnana? What is all this jnana meant to bring us to? What realization? Yeah, atma jnana, really. Just like nuclear physics, all the sciences are heading in that direction, right? But when you get to physics, then, what do you do with that? They often turn to spiritual life. Any physicists here? No, all IT people. Here, Silicon Valley, Hannah. So, George Wald was previous generation. He was a big nuclear physicist. He was big enough that he won the Nobel Prize. But when I saw him in around 1980, 81 in Austin, Texas, at the University of Texas, he began his presentation with, he stepped up to the microphone and said, Om. Because he realized that there's a need for spiritual life. Science is like a Procrustean bed that it hems you in at a certain point, and he knew that because he knew everything about science. And so he understood that we've got to, accommodate some of the traditional wisdom that is coming to us, which is really even higher than that. Albert Einstein was similar. So many of them are like this. Anyway, I don't want to get too far afield, but this is mundane gyan because the Upanishads teach us about two kinds of gyan. What kind of, two kinds of vidya maybe is a better word I should use. What kind of vidyas do we have? Two kinds. Paravidya, aparavidya. Yes. So, there's mundane knowledge and there's transcendental knowledge. Ultimately, even the mundane knowledge is meant to bring us to transcendental knowledge. That's what we've been trying to illustrate. But the thing that brings us to that adhikar is dharma. You have to behave yourself. And this is not understood. Mostly in the modern world, it's just not understood, not appreciated. Not only because people don't have the, well, as my brother used to say, a person is not the brightest bulb on the chandelier. Manda sumanda mati. This is how Kali Yuga is, we're characterized by we're not so bright, and we're lazy also on top of that. And then we're misguided on top of that. So we don't get it a lot of the time. But if we are fixed in piety and we have assimilated dharma in our personal character, then we can actually advance. And this is missing in modern academic education. People think you can do anything off the clock on your own time. It has no, as long as you teach the subject matter that's in our syllabus, everything good. Not like that. Not at all like that. At least not when you come to spiritual knowledge. And even the material knowledge is also faulty. That's why they keep changing the textbooks, revised edition, every year. Because it's not real knowledge. Real knowledge means it's solid and it's forever. There's no need of improving on it. It's perfect already. That's real knowledge. So this is what we get from Shastra. And इसलिए व्यासदेव ने कहा कि Shastra Yonitvat. This is the third sutra of his Brahma Sutras. Shastra Yonitvat. What does it mean? You can guess, even if you don't know Sanskrit. Shastra Yonitvat. The basis of everything is Shastra, yes. So, here Arjuna is asking, because Krishna was emphasizing the importance of Shastra for all these reasons. Now Arjuna is asking Krishna, what about those people who have faith and they're fixed in whatever worship they do, but they don't really know about Shastra, therefore they don't refer to Shastra, Shastra Vidhim Utsrijya, and more importantly, I should say, they don't follow the rules of Shastra. Why is it that we neglect Shastra? Because Shastra tells you what to do. That is the meaning of Shastra. It's like a lathi. You have to do this. You can't do that. You have to do this. And people don't like that. Nobody likes to be told what to do. You got to control your senses. Your senses and your minds are screaming at you to do X, and some yogi comes or some guru comes and says, no, you have to do Y. Oh, I don't like this. This is the mental platform. So Arjuna is asking about those people also. We can include those in the same category as Yashatra Vidamutssrijya. So Tesham Nishtha tu ka. What kind of faith do they have? Nishtha here means faith. What's their position? Sattvamaho Rajastama. Are they sattvic? Are they rajasic? Are they tamasic? All right. Did we finish the purport? Anyway, it bears repeating. In the 16th chapter, it is concluded that one who does not follow the principles laid down in the scriptures is called an asura, demon, and one who follows the scriptural injunctions faithfully is called a deva or demigod. Anybody know a verse that confirms this from Vishnu Purana? You've heard it before. I'm sure you've heard it before. It's very similar to a verse that's in the Bhagavad-gita also, discussing the same topic. Vishnu bhakta smrito daiva asuras tad viparyayaha. Right? So actually, we say that atheism and theism, these two things are defined in the dictionary as belief in a supreme being or not. Right? But that's not what our Shastras say. What do our Shastras say? The definition of an atheist or a Gnostic is somebody who does not accept the authority of the Vedas. It's a subtle distinction, but it's a very consequential one. Because, God, anybody can argue anything about God. He's, a Paurishaya and he's a Paroksha. But, what the Shastra says right there in black and white, there's no arguing that. It's very objective. But we don't want objectivity because we don't want to follow the instruction. Therefore, he's asking, Ye Shastra Vidam Utsrijya. And Vartate Kama Karataha. That's even makes it more clear. On what basis are they acting if they've rejected the Shastra deliberately? Kama Karataha. They're just acting out on the whims. Now it's interesting because we had a discussion with the king of Puri recently, Gajapati Maharaj Divya Singh Dev, and his group of pundits in Puri. So they very strictly follow Skanda Purana. They're all kind of like Smartas, you can say. Actually, they're Mayavadis. But that's their Nishtha is in Skanda Purana, just like Gaudiya Vaishnavas, and we're all Vaishnavas in North India at least, privilege the Srimad-Bhagavatam above all other pramanas. Who says this? Yes. What's the verse? Srimad-Bhagavatam pramanamamalam. Or another one says Puranamamalam. Either way is tika. But prema pumartho mahan Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu matamidam tatradaro na paraha. We have the supreme respect for this assertion of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So they don't necessarily accept it, it would seem, from what we discussed with them, but they say Skanda Purana, and they quote this verse that we quoted at the end of chapter 16. Have you heard about this controversy, Ratha Yatra, the dates? Yeah, it's a big deal in some quarters. So they're saying that, you can't do this. Because Skanda Purana does specify that you should perform it only on certain dates. Okay. But they're saying that you cannot perform on other dates. Otherwise, this verse applies to you. And, nasidhim navapnoti and nasukam na param gati mityadi. So we had to inform them that, well, the fact of the matter is that, Srila Prabhupada established himself as a great acharya by doing what acharyas do. And he did it on a scale larger than any acharya ever did before. So it's undeniable his position. And Mahabharata also tells us, Tarko Pratishta, you can't argue on the basis of logic alone because it's baseless. Shrutayo vibhinna, what to speak of the Smritis, even the Shrutis are so varied that it's hard to understand what they really mean. Nasavrishir yasamatam nabhinnam. And if a person anybody can establish himself as a rishi just by saying something interesting and novel. So that's not conclusive either. What is the next line? No. Third line. Dharmasya tattvasya nihitam guhayam mahajana yenagata sapantha. Whatever the Mahajanas advocate, they have realized this truth, the truth of Dharma within their hearts, have to follow that. This was our counter argument. This discussion will be going on for some time, I expect. But the king, he was actually very, he's not going to say so directly, but it was obvious that he was impressed that these people have some substance. They thought it was going to be very easy to dispense with us, but no. We told them that, when a person of Prabhupada's stature has to be accepted as an acharya mahajana, and however he understands the abstract meaning of Shastra in a given time, place, and circumstance, that has to be considered, because he is the authority. And even in Manusmriti, we find there are 4 things that Manu says about Dharma. How do you understand Dharma? Does anybody know this? We don't read Manusmriti. Shastra is the first thing. But Shastra, you can have differences of opinion. We've already decided that. So he says, in addition to the Shastra, whatever the Shishtas say, Shishtachara, that is also an authority. And that's confirmed in the 11th canto. Krishna tells Uddhava, Shruti pratyaksham aitihyam anumanam chatushtayam. 4 authorities he gives. Usually we only hear of 3 of them, right? We hear Shabda, we hear Anumana, and we hear Pratyaksha. But what is the 4th one? Aitihyam. What is that? It means only Shishtachara. Convention that is received in Guru Parampara from bona fide Shishtas. And there's another passage in the same Manusmriti in which Manu says that if there's ever any question of what is, some religious controversy or question of what is Dharma in a given time, place, or circumstance, you have to follow whatever your predecessors have done, whatever your predecessors understood and followed as Dharma, that you should do, and you will not go wrong. You may or may not go back to Godhead, depending on what you want, but you will not go down if you follow that strictly. So, on that level, they're doing the right thing, but I don't think they have discriminately chosen Skanda Purana as their supreme authority, because all the Puranas themselves are pointing towards Srimad-Bhagavatam. And we told them that. That Jiva Goswami, who has argued extensively in his Tattva Sandarbha and also in Bhagavad Sandarbha, that the real evidence is the Srimad-Bhagavatam ultimately. It's the top. Why do the Gaudiya Vaishnava say that Srimad-Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam? Because the Shastras themselves are pointing in that direction. And Vyasadeva is the author of both the Vedanta Sutra and the Srimad-Bhagavatam, and the Srimad-Bhagavatam is his own commentary on Vedanta Sutra. Arthanam Brahmasutranam. This is stated also in the Puranas. Directly it's stated. This is all relevant here. Because the point being that, we're not necessarily discarding scriptural injunctions kama karataha, whimsically. There's some basis to what we're doing. If the acharya is adjusting according to time, place, and circumstance, which is his prerogative or adhikar, then you have to surrender to that. So, but Arjuna is talking about people who have rejected the Shastra. Then are they in goodness, are they in passion, or are they in ignorance? That's just a side, little diversion we went through for a few minutes. But Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, Trividha Bhavati Shraddha Dehinam Sa Swabhavaja Satviki Rajasi Chaiva Tamasi Chaiti Tam Shrino. What does it mean? The Supreme Personality of Godhead answered Arjuna. He said, according to the modes of nature acquired by the embodied soul, one's faith can be of three kinds. It can be in goodness, or it can be in passion, or it can be in ignorance. Now hear about this. Purport: those who know the rules and regulations of the scriptures, but out of laziness or indolence give up following these rules and regulations, are governed by the modes of material nature. This is your only option. This is why we say there's only two things. If it's not dharma, then what is it? Anything non-dharma, what is it? It's adharma. They're all karma. Dharma is also karma. And adharma is also karma, in a general sense. See, the problem is that the word karma has different definitions in different contexts. Karma, strictly speaking, means ritual activity that is enjoined in the Shastra for your spiritual elevation, or at least pious elevation. Strictly speaking, that is karma. Because activity, or karma also means activity in general. That's another definition. But strictly speaking, it means ritual activity, because activity which is not going to elevate you religiously or spiritually and is not based on Shastra, what do we call that instead? Vikarma. Vikarma kama labhe adharma. It's the same thing, exehing. So, adharma or vikarma. And activity that remains but is completely spiritual activity, akarma. It's not considered to be activity in the mundane sense. It is activity, but it's spiritual activity. Just like Krishna says, Janma karma cha me divyam, right? That means there is such a thing as divya karma and divya gyan, both. Otherwise, why are we singing in Guru Puja divya gyan hriday prakashito, no? So, this is the idea. Only devotional service affords us any opportunity to perform a karma. It's a fact. You know how I know this? I was one day awakened by one of my professors in college who made a very simple but very profound statement. He said, as soon as you apply any theory, it's not theory anymore. Right? At that point, it ceases to be theory. It becomes something else. It's a very powerful idea. And this is how it is with Gyan. The impersonalists, and especially the Mayavadis, they have, so much appreciation for Gyan, but they don't have any way to apply it, because Gyan, by definition, by nature, it must be theoretical. So what do? They come and they open eye camps, and they open, hospitals, and they feed the poor, and they do, pious activity, no doubt, but material activity for them. But that is not the case with devotees, because the activities that the devotees engage in are activities that are intended solely to please the Supreme Lord. And they're directed by his representatives, the Mahajanas, in other words. So the activity that a devotee performs, it has to elevate one on the spiritual platform. It is not infected by any kind of karma unless we introduce karma. That's another thing which is possible. Kapila Deva discusses this at length in the third canto of the Srimad-Bhagavatam. Different kinds of mixed devotional service. You can mix it with, passion, ignorance, and goodness even, And we see that people do this. So that's not really considered pure devotional service. That's mixed devotional service. But here, Krishna is telling Arjuna that your faith is, if it's not completely spiritual faith, that it is of this nature. It is passionate, or it is ignorant, or it is sattvic at best. So that kind of faith, Baladev Vidyabhushan explains in his commentary on this passage. That is what Krishna intends by the word swabhavaja shraddha. Swabhavaja. It comes out of your samskars, really. This is another interesting point, because if your gas tank is empty, the car will continue to drive for some time, right? It's running on the fumes. And sometimes this is what we do also. We have pious enough samskars that we were born in India, but we have enough passion in us that we somehow or other made it over to San Jose, and specifically, working for one of these multinational corporations who are not really interested in people's spiritual welfare. So, we may be running on fumes only, and we will find out after due course of time how much gas you have in your tank. You have to fill your tank again. You can't stop doing the yajnas that were practiced by your predecessors, because even Manu says that's the path of progress. We've already discussed. So you have to reinvest in the process of remaining pious, because what does Krishna say about this at the end of chapter 7? Do you notice that everything I'm saying, I'm referring directly to the Shastras and quoting it? This is what we have to do. According to chapter 17, text 15, Srila Prabhupada explains this principle in that purport. But at the end of chapter 7, Krishna says, what? Adi. Age badho. Dridhavrata. If you want to sustain a mature commitment to pure devotional service, that's called Dridhavrata Bhakti, then you have to be pious. Otherwise, you're going to have a hard time sustaining that. Sustenance. Sustaining. Sustainable living, right? We talk about it. A buzzword currently. Sustenance. What is the dhatu in Sanskrit for this word, sustenance? Dhridhatu. And from this dhridhatu we get dharati, the earth, which sustains us. We get dharma rakshati rakshitaha. It's the source of your maintenance, my friends. It's not the source of your paycheck. The source of your maintenance is dharma only. Your paycheck is coming from anywhere. And it's a manifestation of your dharma also. Past dharma, karma, in other words, good karma. You get your paycheck. Otherwise, if the bad karma comes, they hand you your box and point to the door. Don't come back in again, please. And don't divulge any corporate secrets to your next employer. So, dhridhatu means that which sustains us, actually. So we are concerned with this sustenance, and for that we require dharma. This is a fact. Yesham tuantagatam papam. Your sins will be removed by Krishna consciousness automatically. That's a fact. Jananam punya karmanam. But you have to have acted piously, and you have to continue to act piously. There's no such thing as vikarma yoga. There is akarma yoga, for zarur, and there's also karma yoga. But vikarma yoga, nah. Can't have that. Because it is antithetical to the development of pure bhakti. So, those who are fixed in piety and who have eradicated their previous sinful reactions, te dvandva moha nirmukta. What does that mean? They're not overwhelmed by all the illusions and misconceptions that vikarma produces. Because a person becomes confused through sinful activity. Big time, we've seen it. People who are eating meat, you're all distributing books here, right? We find people who are meat eaters that they can't really, it's hard for them to understand what this stuff is all about. It's very hard. And people whose minds are karnamatmaka, I should say vikarnamatmaka, colored with fruitive activities, especially sinful activities, they have a hard time really sticking with devotional service because the mind is too constantly agitated. You think you're having a hard time now? Look at the people who were born here and what they have to deal with. And count your blessings. So, te dvandvo mohanir mukta, and then the conclusion is obvious. What's the last line? Te dvandvo mohanir mukta? Mam tridhavrata. Then you can be fixed in pure devotional service. This is the point. So here Krishna is talking about swabhava shraddha. That means whatever is coming from your past life, whether your past piety is not good enough. You got to keep filling your gas tank, otherwise you run out. And then you end up on the side of the road. We've decided already that we don't have 405 up here. If somehow it's in Los Angeles and it's again in Seattle, kind of like, all the Vishnu Murtis merge into Krishna. So